Yes, it should be.
So we have Larry Cooper, and you and me. What microphone is on that we're getting so much feedback? Is that a microphone too?
Oh, are you hearing feedback?
Well, when he had his microphone on, I could hear the whistle. Yours is on, not muted.
I don't hear the feedback.
Only one computer can have their microphone open that's at the City Hall.
Okay. Can y'all hear?
John, can you hear us?
Yes, but it's gonna echo if everybody's that's at City Hall, if only, you can only have one compute, the one speaking needs to have their microphone open. Everybody else needs to be muted that's at City Hall.
Turn your microphone.
It is off.
Turn your speakers off.
No, he doesn't have to turn his speakers off. He's off. I don't know.
My microphone. Mine's the only one that's on, John. Larry's going to move away. We got the echo chamber between me and Mike Dryman. That ain't going to work.
Barely.
Let me turn it up. Does that help at all?
Amy, I can hear you, but
Okay, what about Jim?
Amy, you're gonna have to mute when somebody else is talking.
Fine. Um, I have not heard back on everybody, whether they're gonna be here or not. So I do know that. Who told us that we could have? Yeah. Right, so yeah, I know we're good, Absolutely. I think he said yes, but I couldn't hear him. Larry, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Amy, not very loudly.
Okay. All right, well, we'll try to speak loudly on our side.
Okay, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So who's chairing the meeting?
If the floor mic was placed between Jim and Mike, and they remained mute on their computers, would that help the situation any? The floor mic was on and was between them?
I don't know. Is that Jim is, I mean, Chris is going to turn the microphones on over at that dais. The table, whatever we'd like to call it. Larry, can you hear him?
I can.
No, okay. Goodness. You want to try turning the microphones back on?
Amy, I think if Mike or Jim are talking, you're gonna have to mute.
Okay, they just want me to mute unless I'm talking. Let's just try, I guess we can try that. We'll try this. When we have ours on when we're talking and see how that works. Which one of y'all lovely gentlemen is gonna run the meeting?
I think that's John.
Okay. That's us. I'm muting.
Are we saying that I am chairing the meeting?
Yes. So we have to.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:43. First order of business, conduct a public hearing to consider testimony on a request by the owner agent of approximately 1.856 acre tract of land to zone for planned development. Upon annexation, the property described is a certain tract of land situated in the Ashley McKinney Survey, abstract number 851 in Grayson County, Texas. The subject property is generally located north of San Carlos Drive, east of South Dallas Avenue. And my understanding is that we are going to table this tonight. Amy, are we going to still take public testimony?
They actually withdrew their application, so it's completely withdrawn. They want to work with the HOA because it's become more evident to them. They want to go ahead and join the HOA at the same time as going through the process. So they have withdrawn, and they should be submitting back as soon as they can work things out with the HOA.
Let the record show then that it has been withdrawn and that we will take no public testimony this evening. Item number 3, conduct a public hearing to consider testimony regarding amendments to Chapter 46 zoning code of ordinance city, specifically amending Article 1, Sections 46-3, definitions, and Section 46, SFP, single family residential, patio home, section 4677, section 4681, section 4696, and Article 3, section 46125, and the appendix 1A and 1B. Amy, do we have anybody wishing to speak on this tonight?
No, sir.
Having none, I will close out the public hearings. We'll move on to agenda items. Number 4, take action necessary on minutes. Everybody received a copy of the minutes and has had time to look at them, hopefully. So I will entertain a motion.
I would move to approve or adopt the minutes.
Okay, Mr. Cooper. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mike seconded. Any discussion, corrections, additions? If not, signify approval by raising your hand. I see everybody in favor of that. Motion carries. Item number 5 has been withdrawn, so we will take no action on that. Item number 6, consider and take action on chapter 46. And Amy, do you want to give any input before we open this up for commissioners to make, ask questions?
Sure. I mean, if you want me to, I can go through each item. It's up to you. If y'all just want to ask questions and save some time, then that's fine too.
Has everybody had a chance to look over it pretty carefully? Does anybody want Amy to go through item by item? If not, I will open it up for questions to Amy. If nobody else has any, I have some.
None for me.
Okay, I'll take off, and then if somebody else wants to pipe in, you're more than welcome to do so. I would like to start out on page 5. And on page 5 of the, not of your packet, but of the report, and I've got to get down to it. Let's see. Definition of masonry. We had, when we did this, I don't know, 6 or 9 months ago, we had changed the definition of masonry to include cement, but now it has also added, let's see, stucco. Amy, is there a reason we've added stucco? Is that?
Honestly, I did a research from a lot of surrounding cities, and some of them use the 3 process stucco and some don't. So I wanted to put it in there so at least y'all could put your input on it. You can definitely amend it any way you want. I mean, it really is kind of based on your preference. I just wanted to make sure at the very least, if it was in there, it was the 3-step stucco and not just stucco or EIFS or something. But y'all, if that's something you all would not like to count as masonry, that's perfectly fine.
I'm good with, I don't like the stucco, and I'm not sure about the tilt wall. Concrete block we had talked about in our definition, and then what is it? What is the term we use that's fiberboard?
Cementatious fiberboard.
Yes.
So you want to add cementatious fiberboard? Well, I mean, this is just discussing, I know.
Yes. What's everybody else's consensus? Right now we can't. Larry?
I think we were referring to it same thing, different name. We may have referred to it as hardy plank, but the consensus was during that meeting that it should be included.
But we did not want, at that time, we did not want stucco.
It was debated, I think. I think the three-step process is something that we've seen out at Palladium. I believe that's the one they use, and it's not the ordinary mortar smeared on chicken wire. I think it's something that's better. So I don't know everyone's feeling on this this kind of stucco. I think this is a step up from the mortar on chicken wire stucco.
Any other discussion on this one?
Yeah, what's the difference between the three-step process and just a standard EFS application?
Well, with my minimal knowledge, the EFS is, kind of just put right on the styrofoam. A lot of cities don't allow it below 8 or 9 feet just because it's something that can be easily punctured. And the three-step stucco, this has more layers, it's more durable. It typically lasts longer. I don't know if I've ever, I think those are really the main things, are the durability of them. And I wanted to make one other comment about the tilt wall. Something that I've seen some cities do, I don't know if you'd be interested at all, is they put textured tilt wall, or they might add some stipulation. They want it just to be a flat wall, but something to make it look nicer. Like let's say if the United Ag was coming in and they were doing tilt wall instead of a metal construction. I mean, that's just something to think about, but it's totally up to you all.
This definition is definitely loosening our standards than what we have in currently. And is this?
Well, currently there was no definition in the zoning ordinance for masonry. It was like a footnote, but there wasn't a definition. So that's why we added it, but we can make it be just brick and stone if that's what y'all like.
But where it struck out later on that was an attempt to define masonry the last time we did this. And we had a great debate on what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. And at that time, which I know we got a different group now, at that time we did not want stucco. And we did want the hardy board to be allowed. And I don't know if this, by saying other approved masonry material is kind of vague.
Sure, you all could strike that out, or I don't know, it's a good question, because concrete might be CMU, cementitious fiber war. I mean, because it is a concrete product. So if y'all want to tighten this down, I was trying to make it a little bit looser so y'all could tighten it down and give you more options.
Well, I'm more than happy to vote to tighten it back up. And Larry, what was the one that it wasn't concrete block that you were wanting? What?
It was, oh gosh. Well, it was a concrete block, but it was a decorative block. It was oh gosh, masonry unit. It was I think they called it a concrete masonry unit. Some of that, just plain block, very plain, but there's a lot of more decorative cement blocks, like the ones used at Walmart and other places here in Van Alstyne, that look a lot better.
So more of like just the split face, so not the smooth.
Right, chiseled. Some of them have a kind of a chiseled effect, and I think that looks pretty nice. I'm not determined to get stucco in there either. I think the three-step stucco is an improvement, but if the commission doesn't really like the stucco, I'm ambivalent there.
I wouldn't mind seeing it on some commercial in some situations, but residential, I would be opposed. Right now, we aren't forcing anything with, but I want to have this written that when legislator gets the confidence back, that we're allowed to, that we have these things already in place.
Sure, and I'm sure you could differentiate between residential and non-residential.
Is it important that we finish this tonight, or can we do some more research on what the definition is on some surrounding cities?
Oh, we could do more research, whatever you'd like. It hasn't been noticed for council it hasn't been placed on an agenda for council
Okay,
yet.
so we're not in a hurry on this. I'd rather get it right. And what I'm saying, Amy, before you came, we spent a lot of time doing this. And the version that was sent out was kind of half of what we did and half of it wasn't in there. And so, it is not your fault at all, but I don't know what council approved after it came to us.
Well, yeah, the definition that was struck, as you said, from this one was just stone and brick. I mean, you could always just say stone and brick, if that's stone and brick or other approved masonry or other material approved by the building official or the city manager or his designee. I mean, yeah, there are a few ways to do it.
I think adding the fiberboard was the only thing we did to the definition when we did it before was add fiberboard.
That's the way I remember it. I think I suggested the concrete and masonry units because I see them in pretty common use. But I would say for the definition, if we're going to use that, I would say decorative concrete masonry units.
What about, Larry, would you be comfortable with striking stucco and concrete and concrete block, but leave in other approved masonry material? And
Sure. When I read the words tilt wall materials, I imagine these big concrete slabs that get raised up from the ground and they're just put in place, big slabs of concrete, which is a really industrial look. So am I right about that? Is that what tilt wall concrete is?
Mhm.
yes,
That's pretty industrial looking to me. I don't know if you can cover it with something else or not, but.
yeah, some of them are covered, but I think for our definition here, I would rather it be simple brick, rock. Amy, can we go back to that definition that was at the bottom and use that and just add fiber materials and add to the definition or other approved masonry material?
Sure, we can do whatever you like. I think it just said brick or stone veneer. I don't know if you want to use the word veneer. It depends on, because sometimes when they say veneer, they use like a ½ inch thick brick. I mean, if you're
Yes.
okay with that.
I wasn't wanting to leave the word veneer in there.
It says masonry means brick or stone veneer.
Means in the definition that we had before.
Yes, sir, that was stricken out of the non-residential. Oh, that was non-residential zoning district regulations. And then in residential, yes, masonry means brick or stone veneer.
My
Okay.
understanding, I'm sorry.
No, that's
I
okay.
think then masonry means brick, rock, natural or manufactured stone or other approved masonry material. How does that sound? Others, thumbs up, thumbs down?
Okay, so I have a question on the masonry or other approved materials. Or how about that? If we do the masonry, other approved materials, does that mean any material that they use has to be approved by P and Z?
P and Z or city staff.
Whoever, you could put the city manager and his or her designee, that would be fine. If you don't want to put a building official, since we officially use, a third party for building, you could, normally you would probably say building official, but since we don't have a building official on staff, you could say the city manager, his or her designee.
That's the verbiage we've been using. Or we could say that it has to be approved by P and Z. So Jim, are you good with that definition? Like, should I read it one more time, what I've got?
Yes, please.
Masonry means brick, rock, natural or manufactured stone, or other approved masonry material approved by, and I think we need to have another thing in there, is approved by city manager or designee.
I will say that on tilt wall, Larry, there are some really good tilt. I don't know what's going on with my mic.
Can you hear me at all?
I can. Not now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay. One thing that I will say, Larry, is on some tilt walls, you can have like a form that simulates brick or stone or something like that. So in some instances, and I agree with you, it is more of an industrial look, but in commercial properties, maybe some strip shopping centers or something like that, it might look better than fiberboard or metal or something like that, and the cost is rather inexpensive.
let me tell you my thought on that. If we leave tilt wall in there, then it can be any tilt wall.
You can't specify?
And well, I think we'd have a hard time in the definition specifying, well, we like this tilt wall, but we don't like this tilt wall. But
I
if
got
we
you.
leave
Makes
in
sense.
there or other approved masonry material, tilt wall would be
And part of that?
part of that, I think.
Fair enough. I'm good.
What about adding precast concrete?
But I think that would go back under the whole other approved masonry umbrella, wouldn't it?
I mean, that could be a manufactured stone. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but that could definitely still be decided by the city manager too, so.
That's what I'm saying. It could still be construed under the other approved masonry materials.
And in my definition that I did not say fiberboard. And I think fiberboard needs to be in there.
Okay,
Turn your speaker back on. Yeah.
so cementatious fiber or cement fiberboard,
Yes,
not it, we won't use Hardy since it's a brand name.
right. Masonry means brick, rock, natural or manufactured stone or fiber, cement fiber, board, or other approved masonry material approved by city manager or designee.
Sounds great.
That would cover it.
Let's see from committee, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you like it, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Randy, do you want to
I'm not comfortable with having fiber cement included as defined as being masonry.
The thought on that is like out at, we have a lot of like the zero lot lines that want to have like the plantation look. And we don't allow boards on the side, but the cement boards where it looks like it's like an example is on 380 going towards Denton, that plantation subdivision. You
No,
know,
I understand the application of it. I'm just not sure why it's defined as masonry. I mean, I don't want to bog down on this.
a lot of cities have it as masonry, and it's just when you say that all of our stuff is going to hopefully go back to saying like 80% of the building has to be masonry. And so you have to put it as part of that, or you would have to say 80% masonry or cement.
Andy, I think part of that on the fiberboard compared to siding, because there are some sidings that are wood, lap siding and things like that. So I think you need to be specific as a hardy board or masonry material.
That's why the cement fiber is, when you look for a definition of hardy board, that's how it's going to be defined.
And I don't know if y'all have heard of Nichiha. That's something that a lot of people are using now too. They're cement panels, and that can also be considered cementatious fiber board. No, I've seen some hotels and some hotels I've worked with use Nichiha, and some big more corporate buildings.
What is the appearance? Does it look like wood planks, or does it look like stone? Or
It can look like anything you want, honestly. It's just a thick material, like a veneer, a thicker veneer big panels made out of made out of cement, and it can take on all different forms.
Well, that could be one of the other materials that could be considered, I suppose. I mean, if somebody wants to show us what a panel of it looks like, some developer wants to show us what it looks like.
Amy, would you do some research on this, and let's do it as we talked about, but let's come back to that after you do research, and maybe email us out what Frisco and McKinney and some of the others have.
Sure, we still definitely have time before the next legislation goes through, so we can make some more tweaks to that.
Okay.
But for now, I have the masonry means brick, rock, natural and manufactured stone, cementatious fiberboard, or other masonry material approved by the city manager or his or her designee.
All right. Everybody good with just leaving it like that right now, and then we'll come back? All right. Amy, overall in this, we had changed a bunch of things to try, like we increased the size of the lots, and I guess we can wait till we get down to there, but did the attorneys like kick all that out? We were trying to have some real stiff things, and then that could be used as leverage that, well, if you want to do brick, then we'll back off of some of that.
Right, we can't do the brick, but I just put the numbers back down to what they were before, but you could still definitely require wider lots if you wanted to. We just can't put anything in there about the masonry. But I kept the stuff in there. I think there were some sections that had to do with the roof pitch we kept in there, and providing a little bit more open space. That stayed in there. It's just anything that was 100% dependent on the masonry, we took out. So I did put those the requirements back to what they were previously, but if we want to make them larger without the masonry requirements, we sure can.
Okay. Let's go to page 24, please. And part of this is just cleanup. H, SFZ. In most of the places, we're inconsistent calling that SFZ or SFP,
Okay,
patio homes.
it is supposed to be SFP. I'm trying to interject, but the only things that will be changed, all the rest of this text, I just gave you the whole document as I had it now. It hasn't been codified. So I just put them together with the last changes that have been made. So there still might be some things that are incorrect on that because it hasn't been codified. But the only things that'll be changed will be those ones that were shown as being changed, because those were the only things that were noticed. The other stuff should get cleaned up when they actually gets codified by Muni Code.
Okay, should we go ahead and try to correct some of that stuff now in case it gets missed then, or?
Well, I can look back and see what they have and make sure, right? It just couldn't be a part of this motion because it wasn't that section wasn't advertised, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But we can definitely make sure that Muni Code has all the right ordinances to make sure that that's correct.
Well, zero lot line was part of tonight's thing and what I read, wasn't it?
Yes, but section 46-38 was not.
Okay. So would
Sorry.
you highlight that or whatever and
Absolutely.
make a note on that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Because some of these things were ones that were done at the end of last year.
Yes.
And that hasn't been codified, so these will get codified together. So hopefully those will all be taken care of at that point.
Okay, page 32. And I might be doing the same thing, but I'm just,
Page 32. Okay.
page 32.
Mhm.
On the single family residence, and for our new members, what we attempted to do is we feel like we have enough small lots. And so we're trying to, at least for the time being, do away with the smaller lots. And so this says the zoning district is not to be used in the designation of any new zoning after January 1st, 2020. And Amy, my question on that is it new zoning or is it new platting?
I would say new zoning, because if it's already zoned that, the land is already zoned that, and they want to complat it, they could plat it according to that. Just like if it's SF1 or SF2, since those are both gone now.
Yeah, but like right now in our master plan, we have, it's just zoned single family, right? It's not designated what type of single family.
Correct. If it hasn't been zoned, if it's not currently zoned SF60, then it wouldn't be able to be zoned SF60, right?
Okay, so if I go out and buy acreage and I want to build a subdivision in the city limits, would that be considered new zoning at that time?
If it's not currently zoned SF60, yes, sir.
Okay, and the vast majority of that would be zoned either ag or just zoned single family?
That's a good question. I mean, everything comes in as ag. Of course, now we can only do, we used to be able to go and annex land and it would come in as ag and not sit that way forever. Of course, now we can only do voluntary annexation. So they usually immediately change their zoning. So anything that was zoned in the past probably is still ag if it hasn't been developed.
So I guess my question, any large piece of land right now that came to us, it would have to be zoned.
Yes, assuming that it's not already zoned, but I don't think I think most of those large pieces of land, like you said, are not.
Okay. That helps me out there. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And then on 32, I'm sorry, that was 32. On 34, we're getting back to the patio homes.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to make sure, of course, that definition is patio homes and not, I thought I had recollected because we just approved a very large, that it looks like they've started working on again, patio homes area. And because of the vast number of patio homes with, out at Mantua, I thought that we had put that same stipulation in for patio homes, that we were putting a moratorium on that.
I can look at
Larry
that
or
last.
Randy or Mike, do y'all remember any of that discussion?
I don't remember a talk of a moratorium, but I do remember discussion generally that we probably needed to slow down on the allowance of these very small lot homes, that we had enough of them.
I would like to see that same statement in, and it might be 2021 that we put on there, January 2021 instead of January 2020. I think we have our fill of approved patio homes right now, and I'm pretty sure that we said that when we did this 6 to 9 months ago.
Okay.
Input from others?
That section was noticed. So, I mean, you can make changes to that entire 74676. So you are able to do that. I'm just looking back at the ordinance. Jennifer sent it to me that was approved at the end of last year. I don't see that on there, but that doesn't mean it would. I mean, the copy I have doesn't show it. So, but that's something we can add.
Well, I'm the one that wrote this when it happened. And I know I wrote it with it in there, and I don't remember it being taken out. So others, what are y'all's thoughts? Do we have enough for right now? If we're going to do away with 60, why would we want patio homes at 40-foot lots?
I agree.
Randy, what's your?
Yeah, I think only as like infill type development,
Okay.
but not as, yeah.
And the infills are going to mostly be in center town, which would be the SF60s that are still allowed in the historic district.
And if somebody wanted to come in and do a whole big development with all different sized lots and do a PD for it, they could put in a section of that.
Yes.
If y'all approved it.
Yes, which would be questionable at this time. Also, I thought that we had changed our 4,000. We went back and forth, but I think we wanted that at 4,500 square feet, which would be D on that.
Okay, so we can change that one to 45, and then I add that same sentence from the 60, SF60. Do you want it to, what date would you want that to be? 21.
Y'all think upcoming January, so everybody's on notice?
I guess it would be hard to go back in time.
Yes.
I mean, I wish we all could, but.
Yeah, let's go back in time.
I don't want to go back in time. Maybe on this, but personally, I want to go ahead until
that's true.
we get out of COVID.
Okay, well, I put January 1st, 2021 on that A. That will be a sentence added for 4676, and then also on letter D, it'll be changed to 4,500, and then in the table referencing the district, it'll also say 4,500.
Okay, and I was trying to remember. Yeah, this one has 2 enclosed, so we're good on that. Page 66. I'm making progress here. Which are the charts
Okay. Yes. Got the choice.
We start out with the SFP,
Mhm.
but then like pages,
Table.
68 to 93 don't have that same heading. They call it SF.
Z.
See, okay. That's fine. We'll change all those to Ps.
Okay, and then also on table 1 there,
Yes,
where
sir.
it talks about garden, parentheses, patio home. I think if we have both of those words in there, we need to flip flop patio and garden. Because
Okay.
we're referring to all of those as wherever we see the word garden home, I think we need to replace it with patio.
Okay. I can do that in all the sections that were advertised at least, for sure.
Okay,
So get rid of garden and just put patio.
yeah. And then these sound like minor things, but we're using conflicting verbiage throughout this. And you might
Sure.
just do a search on this document in Word and see how many times garden comes up.
Yeah, no problem. So patio garden.
Let's see. Yeah, like SFZ is on page 68 and then goes all, it's used all the way through there. And page 96, you're going to see the word garden, parentheses, patio used again. And
Right. I'll do that search and do that. Yep.
okay. And then I'm on page 96.
Okay.
C4 has SFZ. On page 95, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
I think with that last ordinance, it would put in there when it would get codified to change all the SFZs to SFPs, but we'll just double check since it hasn't been codified yet.
okay. In 96, you had the same problem with garden patio.
Okay.
And then I believe someplace in here, yes, the parking.
Mm-hmm.
It says 2 off-street spaces. And when it's defined earlier, in one of the things we did is we had that as 2 off-street enclosed spaces.
Okay, for which section? On which page? I'm
E9.
sorry.
Page 96, E9. Does anybody have bingo yet?
Okay.
On parking,
Mm-hmm.
2 off-street enclosed spaces.
All right. I'm sure that's probably on that ordinance 857.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so yeah, so anything that's on there will be codified into the final, right? So the ordinance for this that we're going through now is only going to mention the sections that were noticed. So everything else, all the other changes that were made for that previous one that haven't been codified, they'll go in with this too. So those things like that should all be caught at that point,
All
if that
right.
makes any sense.
Is there a way that one thing that I've been getting heartburn about is on these, we don't see them after they're done. Or before they're final and put online. And so anything they don't catch we're having stuff that's recycling that comes up time and time again, that somehow in the system is not getting, the final product's not what we talk about. So is there a way that we can get back in the loop before it's a final deal and put online?
When I get the final ordinances before they go on to city council, I can send them to y'all. Because I have to get that obviously at least a week before it goes to city council.
Okay.
So I'm happy to send y'all the ordinances. That way, if you have comments, you can make them, you can pass them on to me or Jennifer, or, speak at the meeting. I mean, we can figure out, depending on what the comments are, how big or small they are. But yeah, I can send you that ordinance that I get back from the attorney.
So what we did 6 or 9 months ago, nothing's happened with it between then and now. Is that what we're saying?
It just hasn't been codified, right, on MuniCode, exactly.
Okay.
The ordinance is out there and done. It just hasn't been integrated into MuniCode.
All right. So
I forwarded you what I had, Dr. Spees, so that Jennifer sent it to me, so you can look at that too.
okay. All right. Anybody else have anything on the anything that y'all would like looked at closer? All right. If not, do we need a motion to approve with changes, Amy, or just move it on to the next? You need a motion on this?
Yes, you were good, because you're going to make recommendation to city council, so you could recommend the changes as amended.
Yes. Okay, so I'm entertaining a motion to approve with changes noted.
I'll second.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay. Randy, you said you seconded it, right?
I did.
Okay, I didn't hear who made the motion. Jim made the motion?
Oh,
Okay, Jim.
I thought you made the motion. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't make the motion. Okay, Jim, are you good with making the motion? And Randy, are you good with seconding the motion?
Sure.
All right. Who's on first? All right, any further discussion? Raise your hand if you're in favor. Opposed? That motion carries. All right, we are ready for the director's report. You're going to have to unmute before you start, Amy.
yes, and my computer told me you were muted, which is funny because I'm never muted. I talk so much, but I just thought I would give y'all a good progress report on what's going on around here, like we used to, and like Lynn would always give us information. So Mantua Point Phase 1, the utility contractor is constructing the retaining wall north of Lakemont, east of Collins McKinney Parkway. The utility contractor is continuing to pour in the storm inlets and they're installing meter boxes. So they're coming along. I think they have like 4 builders who are interested in building in this first phase. By the end of the year, I believe. Yes. Mantua Point offsite sewers, lift station and force main. They're installing and backfilling. The force main has been installed, so they're working on that. The Oakbrook subdivision, initial section of water main has been installed and tested. That they're getting that water now to United Ag. The likely complete sanitary sewer installation, I think this was last week, so either this week or next week. They're going to lay remaining water mains, and they're revising their paving approach to be developed in order to avoid the alley closure on west of Hobson Street. Thompson Farms, contractor plans to use the previously installed temporary water lines to test the new mains installed for the subdivision, and they're going to be putting in the water mains. Brooks Apartment, as the contractor is completing with paving. They haven't, as of last week, they hadn't finished all the inspections, and I'm sure you've seen they've gone vertical with the clubhouse and the parking structures. Graywood Phase 3, they have a grading permit issue, but they haven't begun work. United Ag, as we all see, have erected their steel building. They're out there pouring and working on it, and they have water now. Zimmerman Kubota, I just drove by there today. They have their storm sewer installed. They have done some large pours the last couple of weeks, and they're ready to go.
75.
75 and
Out by Farmington.
out by Farmington. It's right by
Cowboy
that.
Club.
Hodgins.
Right. Right by the Cowboy Club.
No,
Is that
it's going
right?
west- It's south. It's on
Yes.
south side 75.
You can see they've got a lot of stuff if you drive by. We drove by today. Yes.
Yes.
So it's in the ETJ, but they did the plating through us and they're meeting all
Yes,
of
sorry, I
our
thought
commercial
you were meeting
standards.
inside of-
And then Texona Retail, they have activity to construct internal components of the building and they have no schedule for utility connections or final paving yet. Next month, y'all are gonna have, I think there's a residential replat that's coming in and another subdivision in the county. There might be another annexation and zoning for a little piece of land for Graywood, like where the church is. But that's not, the agenda hasn't been completely worked out yet, but it will be. I'll have to know, obviously, because I'll have to be noticing and sending out letters and doing postings. So y'all just might keep on the lookout for that. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you, but that's what's really going on around here.
Anybody have questions, comments for Amy?
As soon as I hear anything about Georgetown, I'll let y'all know too, just so, it doesn't just pop back up without y'all knowing.
All righty. With that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Mr. Cooper, and second. I got Mike. All in favor, turn off your computer. Thank y'all.
Thank you.